My whole life revolved around just being good at sports. Like, I loved sports. It was my number one thing. I'm a firm believer in this. If you find something in life that makes you feel like a kid again, keep doing that thing. So that went from getting just a couple hundred views on any video we put out to putting the Grinch out. And within 2 days, it had like 5 million views on it. And I think now on Facebook it has like 60 million.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and it's like millions on YouTube. So like that was the moment that our band was like, oh, we might be able to do this.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Good Hustle episode 23. I'm John Henry.
Zach Williamson.
Yeah, this is going to be a good episode.
It's our Jordan episode. It's 23.
Well, it is our Jordan episode. And the funny thing is, and this is no shame to our guest, but we had a cancellation last night. Mm-hmm. And we had a future guest that we were going to have on that was actually available this morning.
Yep.
So we're super grateful that he's here. And it means a lot to us because we need to produce these episodes weekly.
Yes.
It's really important, especially for the people like Bill Brennan that has to watch it every Monday morning.
I was going to say, I have friends blowing up my phone like, dude, where is the episode? And it's like 8:01 on a Monday.
Well, he also forgot to put it on Spotify for like 3 days.
Yeah,
so
I did, yeah.
that doesn't...
that was actually my bad. I'm sorry,
that...
audio-only listeners.
Whoopsies. So what do we do?
We make the podcast and stuff. But if you didn't already know, John and I were also both realtors here in Central Pennsylvania. So if you're looking to buy, sell, invest, any of that kind of stuff, let us know. We'd love to help. This is how we fund our podcast, even though it doesn't make that much money right now.
Or zero, to be honest with you.
It makes zero money right
Costs
now.
money.
Yeah, that's how we fund our operation right now is our real estate business. So if you guys need anything, just please let us know. We'd love to help.
And also, we have a store, which we'll put a link below for you to buy Good Hustle gear. And there's tons of really cool stuff in there from Under Armour, Travis Matthews. There's
we got a lot of good merch that
North
like
Face.
even I can't afford our merch right now. That's how good it is.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I made it so. I'm just kidding.
That's some top quality stuff.
It is. Yeah.
All right, so today we have Ben Guiles on the show. Ben Guiles is a multifaceted dude. We've become really close friends because his wife is a very good friend of mine from our brokerage from Keller Williams. She has been a great team leader, and it is a direct reflection of the type of person Ben is as well.
Absolutely.
So we become friends with Ben. Ben is a band member of a band, which we'll talk about a little bit later, called Small Town Titans, which a lot of people, it's not just a local band. They're known across the world. They tour across the world. But we don't want to necessarily just talk about that. We want to talk about a little bit of your history, a little bit about your life, where you grew up, just kind of get an idea of where you came from and how does a kid from your life to becoming in a big band like that. So give us a little story about little Ben.
Little Ben. All right.
Oh, that's a Rice, isn't it?
All
little
the way.
Ben? Oh, that's Uncle Ben. Sorry.
I'm also an uncle, so that works.
Hey. San Francisco treat. All right, Kevin.
But yeah, man, I mean, little Ben, my childhood ripped. Like, I had a great childhood. I came from an era where mom would just open the door and be like, here's your bicycle, man. Come back before dark.
Oh, that's awesome.
I had a lot of freedom. I got to go out and explore. I got to go do things that, I feel like a lot of children nowadays you can't just open the door and let your kid run outside at age 7, right?
This is it.
Yeah. So like I lived my entire childhood playing sports and on my bicycle.
That's
and
awesome.
Like all
As
my
did
friends,
I.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
Yeah, my friends and I would just be like, "How far away from home can we get today?" So we would it was just spend all day out there. My whole life revolved around just being good at sports. Like, I loved sports. It was my number one thing. I woke up every day just like trying to be better at things. That's where my love was. Like, I loved playing basketball, baseball, football.
You were in everything.
I would, and if I had access to it, I was playing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I've just been an athlete my entire life, and I feel like I'm a 33-year-old man right now, but I'm still an athlete. I'm hanging on to it.
He was a mathlete.
He was.
No, I was not.
I'm just kidding.
I was. Yeah,
I was the furthest thing from a mathlete.
I was definitely not a mathlete.
Squared. I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding. Oh, I could have used you in high school then because I failed math twice.
My wife is the real mathlete.
Yes, Lizzie is the one. Well,
Shout
I
out to
failed
Lizzie.
math too.
Yeah, it's
Well, I failed everything because I was in. Well, that's a different story for a different day. But go ahead.
Oh man, I failed math because it wasn't interesting to me.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Like I can only put my time and effort and brain power into things that truly interest me. If it's boring,
I'm the same way,
I'm
man.
aloof.
Yep. Yeah, I can't do it either. So little Ben was always into sports and stuff. Where did you grow up at?
I grew up in Columbia, Pennsylvania. It's about
Lancaster
45
County.
minutes south of where we're filming this podcast. Yeah, Lancaster County, right on the river, Susquehanna River.
Is that the Turkey Hill experience?
Yeah,
that's right.
The home that I was born and raised in is about 5 minutes from the Turkey
That's
Hill
awesome.
experience.
Yeah, it's a beautiful bridge. Comes in and out of there too.
Yep. The Route 30 bridge and the 462 bridge right there. There's a lot of history in that town too. It was almost the capital of the country.
Columbia?
Yeah.
Really? York was too at one point in time.
Yeah, look it up. I don't know the exact details, so I'm not a historian.
I don't know why are they all around here? I don't get it.
Central.
I think it was because of the bridge. It was one of the only places back then that you could cross right there. So like it was a natural hub. And I don't know the rest of the history, but I was told it was almost the capital.
We'll have a Wikipedia link below.
Yeah,
about
right.
this history.
I'm going to have to dig it up now.
He'll get on that.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So you were always into sports and stuff, growing up in Columbia and stuff. What was family life like for you growing up?
Family life was, you can't really. It's hard to say that it wasn't just like the picturesque thing. Like I didn't really have a whole lot of troubles. My parents were there. Dad took off work to come to all my ball games.
That's awesome, man.
Got to go hang out with my grandparents. Like I got no qualms about my childhood. It was just a lot of action. Like when I woke up, I was balls to the wall until I fell asleep standing.
Yeah.
Like that's my childhood all day. I ate a lot of watermelon.
By the way, I've eaten about 40 pieces this morning. I eat watermelon. I'm so addicted.
Watermelon.
That's my favorite fruit.
It's the greatest thing in the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like if I don't want to brush my teeth, which I brush my teeth all the time, if I'm like I got a weird taste in my mouth, I'll just eat watermelon.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry.
Nate is laughing at his behind the camera right now.
It is so good.
Love me some watermelon. Okay.
Yeah. So family life was just, it was great. Played sports, went to school. I did good in school. I didn't do great in school, but enough to get by.
So where did you excel in high school in sports? Was it baseball, football, basketball?
I excelled in all
most.
The most. I was best at baseball.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when
I could never hit. I was so bad.
that was what I was good at.
Okay.
Yeah, like I played shortstop, and I was a fair shortstop. Like I could compete with anybody that was a shortstop. I was good enough to be almost as good as the best. I wouldn't say that I was the best, but I was a good hitter. I wasn't a power hitter, but I batted .637 was my average from 9th grade to 12th grade.
That's insane
altogether.
numbers.
That's nasty.
That was what I was like most proud of. So I was like, I'll be honest with you, I was a little devastated that I didn't get recruited more for baseball.
I'm surprised you didn't get recruited more for baseball.
Yeah.
Was it the long ball? What was it?
It was that my team was 2-19 my senior year.
And it's hard to get a scout to show up.
We didn't have a whole lot of. We had a couple of good pitchers, but we walked in like more than half the runs. Like we didn't have pitching. So
That's brutal.
If we didn't score 12 runs as a team, we lost.
You know what you guys needed?
What?
You needed Kyle Nornholt as a coach.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what you. Yeah,
We needed
Kyle.
him as a
Where
coach.
the
Shout out
hell
Kyle.
were ya?
And somebody to throw the heater.
You should have done your best Shohei Ohtani impression and pitch too. That's what you should have done.
I did a couple times, but I was no good at pitching.
what's
Like
that
that
guy's
was
name?
not my thing.
Ohtani.
Eastbound and down. That's what they need. Oh, Kenny Powers.
Kenny Powers.
You needed Kenny Powers.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, nobody needs Kenny Powers. All right. So that was your favorite sport. Didn't get the recruits that necessarily you wanted, but you also excelled as a running back, correct?
Yes, I was good at football as well. And that's where I did get a lot of recruits because our football team was good.
What were you like? AAA, 4A, 5A in Columbia?
We were AA,
Okay.
barely.
Okay.
We graduated.
Hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, we graduated 100 kids.
Oh yeah, that's
So it
yep,
was
that's like Camp Hill size.
Yeah, very, very small school, but we played the Quad A schools.
Yeah.
And sometimes we beat them. Like, so
That's
that
crazy.
was pretty cool. Like we were always our Columbia High School was the little school that nobody wanted to play because all the quad A schools had nothing to gain. They just had everything to lose against us because we were decent at sports, but they were, they're like, oh man, we got to play them. Like if we beat them, cool. If we lose to them, it's like you lost to a single A school. Like
yeah.
One funny thing about this is whenever I was Googling Ben for the first time, I think Ben had told me to look up some video or something, and so I just put in Google Ben Guiles. And I was shocked that like a lot of the first results were all football related. Yeah. And I was like, is this the same guy? Because at the time, Ben had really long hair.
Are you telling me this?
Yeah. And
like, did Ben play football? I'm like, yes, he did.
I was so confused because I always think of you as just like a music head. And normally in my brain, the rock and roll guys don't mix with like the football guys in my head for some reason. They don't.
I have so many stories about that.
Yeah. So we'll definitely talk about that too. But I guess, can you kind of take us into your transition into college and playing in college and all that kind of stuff too?
Yeah.
Let's talk before we go there. Let's talk about what kind of records did you like? How were you in high school, and what was your recruiting like in high school? And then talk about college.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So in high school, I was the section running back. I got some awards and stuff, and I broke a couple of like rushing records for my school.
Nice.
And the section. And that is why like some colleges started to come. And then every now and then in school, I'd get, boop, can Ben Guiles come to the office? I would come to the office, and there would be a coach there from the school. And
that is not the reason I got called to the office. Son, we found a bag in your book bag.
So now I knew your brain was going to go there.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah.
See, when you said, John, when they said, Ben Guiles, report to the office, they were like, yay.
But that's how I felt. I was like, what did they find? Like, am I in trouble? Because I never got correspondence from coaches. Like, they would just show up.
That is weird that they would never reach out to you without just going to the school and
maybe they did, and I didn't answer it or whatever. I was a 17-year-old kid. Like,
right.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
I keep interrupting. I'm really sorry, Ben. But keep going. Tell me about you'd go up to the office.
I'd just go to the office, and there'd be a coach sitting there, and then they would sit there, and they would sell me on going to their school, and a lot of them would be like, hey, like, if you come to our school, you're going to play right away. Like, we know your talents. We need a guy like you. And then there was a couple of schools that were like, we want you on our team. We picture you playing at your junior year or senior year or whatever.
Oh, okay.
It was all the local D3 and D2 schools came to recruit me. I didn't get any D1 offers because I was a 170-pound, 6-foot tall running back.
Yep,
right.
That's thin.
Yes,
yeah.
which for a D1 coach looks like a sheet of glass.
Right.
So
especially back then too, like it's getting more common now, but I'm sure when you were playing that was like everywhere was like 220, right?
Right. Anybody that was going D1 was what I call a brick shit house.
You weren't quite. You're just a tad smaller than Derrick Henry.
Just a little.
Yeah,
bit.
a little bit.
Yeah,
by
like,
two people,
like 100 pounds less or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I had this like this different kind of thing. Like I wasn't running anybody over, but I was like a weeble wobble. Like a lot of big linebackers would just like hit me, and I'd bounce off and just keep running. Mm-hmm. So that's what I had going for me. But the D1 coaches were like, yeah, you'll last a half a practice before you're on IR.
I mean, but the good thing is you were getting recruited, you're getting recognition, and somebody was going to pay for your school.
Yes.
So how did that turn out? That was his question, sorry.
Yeah, so it turned out the school that I decided to go to was Lebanon Valley College right here in Annville, Cleveland, Pennsylvania.
Shout out Lebanon Valley.
Yeah.
Yep.
LVC. And they told me, the coach came in, he was honest, I liked him the most, and he was like, you're not going to play till your senior year. We have a running back that's breaking all the records right now, and he's only a year older than you. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever. We'll see about that. You get that little chip on your shoulder.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, right. And I knew that I was going there because they had a music program, because I've always been into music. So I decided to go there. It's not a regret, it's a what if. There was an opportunity for me to walk on at Wake Forest for baseball that I turned down.
That's like a powerhouse.
It's a
Wake Forest
powerhouse,
is a pretty big school.
and I could have done that, and I chose to go to do football because Wake Forest didn't have a music program.
Oh.
So there was this big juggle of like...
So you were always thinking music even back when you were first starting out at colleges and stuff.
Yeah, I loved music. It was the only thing that really brought me the creative joy and happiness that like I just needed to get out. Like failed math twice because the mechanics of math wasn't what didn't give me any joy.
Yeah.
Right.
So like I loved Legos as a kid. It's like just the sheer creativity of something is what I needed to do.
And building something
music.
And like there is a completion to it. Mm-hmm. Like you're creating something and it's like, wow, look what I just did.
Yes.
And with music, you can do that.
Yeah. You're creating something from nothing, essentially. Yeah. There's not too many other parts of life where you get to do that. Like art is taking something from in here and actually making a physical or like, intellectual piece of property out of it.
Yeah.
And that always just made me so happy. Some of my fondest memories as a kid, you guys asked about my childhood, was sitting on the back porch listening to music with my dad. He had all the CDs and vinyl records like in this big rack, and we would just go out there. He would crack open a beer, and we'd be like, we're going to listen to this one front to back. And then when that was done, we'd get another one, and it was like Deep Purple, White Snake, like all these classic hard rock.
I was picturing Celine Dion.
Celine Dion was not in the repertoire. Nothing against Celine Dion, but
I thought it was going to be Phil Collins.
Phil Collins is awesome. I love Phil Collins.
Yeah, right. We were more like sex, drugs, rock and roll.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
So that was some of the fondest memories. So like when I started to get into music, it just felt right. I was like, this is where I feel home.
Yeah,
doing music.
It is funny that I think a lot of the time we kind of chase, in our future tense, going back to the things that brought us a lot of joy as a kid, Yeah. I see that a lot in my life. Like, some people ask me, like, Zach, why do you still watch WWE? You're 29, you have all this stuff going on. I'm like, yeah, my dad always loved it. And we still go and see shows. And, like, it's just part of us.
Dude, I'm a firm believer in this. If you find something in life that makes you feel like a kid again, keep doing that thing.
100%.
Like, because what else are you living for?
Yeah, like I'm collecting... Sorry, Taylor. BMX bikes right now. Dude, because I raced and rode BMX bikes as a kid. And I love them. And they're amazing to me because... And the cool thing is, like, I couldn't afford one. I remember the BMX bike I got when I was a kid. No offense. Please don't arrest me. But I stole it. I stripped it. I painted it.
You know what? I had mine stolen. So was it a Huffy?
Yeah, no. It was actually... I won't even say what it was. But I stole it, stripped it. Well, then it got stolen from me.
Ben stole it back.
Ben stole it back. What color was it, Ben? Because I stripped it and painted it.
It was I stripped it and painted mine.
What color?
It was gray and black.
Green.
Okay. different bikes.
Barely. Wait, you're colorblind though, aren't you?
No, just one eye blind.
Okay.
That would be terrible.
I'm colorblind, actually.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
I knew. I thought I was going to say one of you is colorblind.
Yeah, we're both blind in different ways.
I got you.
So that was your question.
Yeah. So I guess we go from... You went to LVC, right?
Yes, I chose LVC because of the music program and to play football. I could, do the sports thing and the music thing at the same time there.
Okay. And can you kind of take us through like LVC and like how that went and how football and everything transpired there?
Yeah, so I came into LVC as a freshman college student, not knowing what the hell I was doing. I was taking all these music classes, which was difficult for me because I knew nothing about music other than how to play it and what sounded good to me.
Yep.
I didn't know the notes on the guitar, couldn't read it, nothing. When I got there, everybody but me could read, could do all this stuff. And I was behind in that sense. And also I was the only kid in LVC history that played football and was in the music program.
Wow.
See, I knew it.
Dude, and that's where, that was one of the stories I have earlier. Like, I got reverse bullied. Like, the opposite of what the cliche bullying is. Like, the jocks pick on the band kids. No. This was the band kids hated me because I played football.
Wow.
And it was like, you don't belong here, man. Like,
that's crazy.
I even remember, like, my guitar teacher, like, highly encouraged me to quit football because I was never going to be able to do both. And the prospect of breaking a finger or getting injured was going to ruin my music career. And I was like, fuck you. Like, how are you? I'm paying a lot of money to be here.
Yeah.
I got a scholarship, but like, still, it was like,
said, are you going to pay for this then? Like,
yeah. Like, how are you going to? And he was like, he wasn't nice about it. He wasn't like, you need to. I highly suggest you do this. This might be in your best interest. He was like, you're going to have to quit. Like, you can't do both.
Wow.
And I was just like, same thing.
Was this you as a freshman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the same feeling I got when Coach Monis was like, you're probably not going to play until your senior year. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
We'll
let's
see.
see how that goes.
Yeah. So like you get that chip
fuel.
on your shoulder.
It's fuel. Mm-hmm. Like, and even Messiah Mickens talked about that. Like, whenever he said he was getting recruited, and he said when they said, "Hey, you're going to play right away," he's like, "I don't want that."
Right.
He's like, "That doesn't give me any fuel."
Yeah.
He's
That's
like,
not
"Make me earn it."
competition.
I was told you will not play till your senior year because our current guy is breaking all the records.
And you played.
And without that, I probably would have went in there with a little bit of complacency. But because I had that, I had this I'm going to prove you guys wrong.
Yeah.
You know, by my junior year, I was sharing carries with his name's Charlie Parker, awesome running back, great dude. But like, yeah, and he knows this to this day that like I was chasing him.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to take you down.
Where was he from?
I think he went to Hempfield, my neighboring school.
Yeah, neighboring school.
Yep.
And a really cool thing, now I know this because we're friends, and but it's really neat to share. Like, so you're 33, but last year at age 32, 10 years after you graduate high school, what did LVC give you?
What did they give me?
Aren't you in some?
Oh, the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got inducted in the Hall of Fame. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I remember that and I remember that's kind of when we started talking. I started to like get to know you as a person.
Yeah.
And like how excited Brittany was. And I think that's how I found out you played football.
Yeah. Nobody knew. It wasn't something that I like talked about.
And she's like, yeah, he's Hall of Fame running back at LVC. And I'm like, that guy?
Yeah.
I was like, but how cool is that to be recognized? I mean, a decade later to get that recognition.
Yeah. Well, let me clarify what actually happened.
Yeah,
so,
please tell me.
I didn't get inducted into the Lebanon Valley Hall of Fame.
Okay.
I got inducted into the Columbia Susquehanna Valley Hall of Fame.
That's right. I do remember
because
that.
I went on to play in college.
That's
and all
right.
That stuff.
Nice.
I am not allowed to be in the Lebanon Valley College Hall of Fame.
Playing time?
I never graduated.
Oh.
You can't graduate. You can't be inducted.
If you know
Anybody else ever
graduated.
not graduate from college in this room? I have an associate's degree. Do
Oh, okay.
you have a bachelor's degree?
Yeah.
Oh,
I should. Yeah.
this he's all.
I'm sorry.
This guy's all awesome
I'm so
over
sorry
here.
for getting my degree, guys. I'm sorry.
Loser.
What's so funny too is I'm probably the only one of us that started out school on probation though. Like when I first got to college.
Probation.
That's
what
true.
kind of probation?
Academic.
Oh no, mine was different.
Oh my gosh. And by the way, guys, if you're enjoying this episode of the Good Hustle podcast, please go ahead, leave a like, subscribe on the YouTube. And also, we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts now. So if you want to listen without the video part, you can do that.
Yep. And if you're looking for any real estate needs, whether you're buying, selling, or investing, please contact Zach or myself. Our numbers are below. Back to the podcast.
Okay, so you end up doing extremely well at LVC and everything, and you play, and I guess you never broke any fingers to mess up your music career, right?
No, I injured my shoulder pretty bad one time, but other than that, no broken fingers, nothing that made me not be able to play guitar.
Yeah. So how does Ben go from football life, music school, all that stuff into the next chapter of your life, which is the stuff with the band and everything?
So when I was playing football, that was the greatest feeling. You know, there's nothing in life that I had to compare to scoring a touchdown. You know, like you're running down the field, the whole crowd is, you score, you look in the stands, like people were freaking out, chest bumping, and that's because you scored a touchdown and your team worked together to score a touchdown. And it was just the greatest thing. To be successful at that, you can't replicate that feeling. But I tried, and the only thing that got close was strapping on a guitar and getting in front of a crowd and like ripping a solo or like playing songs and jumping around on stage. Like that adrenaline rush was the only thing that was even close.
Yeah.
So naturally, I played music the whole time I was in football. And then I played like my first show. And
who was your first show with?
My first show was with my first band called Against the Grain.
Okay.
And we were terrible. However,
can we find this on YouTube?
You might be able to. It's awful.
All right.
Like you'll probably have to dig, but like we were bad.
I'll dig.
The guy,
Look for comments.
I will.
Okay. One of my best friends, Bryn Duffield, was the lead singer, and he's so much better now. Like he's actually really, really
That's
good.
awesome. Well,
But,
you learn.
Yeah, back in the day, we sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're going to suck at everything you do when you first start.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
We sucked bad. But it was fun. Like, people came out and, friends from college, like, we played a battle of the bands at LVC. And we had a band of football people amongst like 8 or 9 bands of like musician graduates. Our football band won, and they were pissed. That's one of the reasons they hated me too.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
Because what had happened was they had every right.
What had happened was
What had happened was they had every right to hate us, because when we took the stage, our time slot, the football team roared into that auditorium, crowd surfed, went wild.
Yeah.
We stopped, and they left. So everybody was pissed at us.
Yeah.
We didn't tell the team to do that. They just did that.
that's awesome.
But at the same time, we were just
You got 50, 60 guys coming in, right?
102 kids on the team. So
Oh, so
probably 60, 70 kids.
That's
came in.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. But yeah, that's why.
So you go
that's why they
to
hated me.
the first band and everything.
Yes, and we were terrible. The Small Town Titans came after. So I was in a band called Against the Grain. Johnny was in another band. I forget what it was called. Johnny's our drummer. And Phil was in another band.
Phil's the lead singer.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's like, I think it was called Double Entendre or something. And they were actually good. Like
I've heard of them.
Yeah.
They were a local band?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, like
100%.
this was, yeah, dude. They had like they could play shows at college and people would come and
Yeah.
actually enjoy it. The Against the Grain would play shows at college and some people would come, but they didn't enjoy it.
Well, it depends on what they were on.
It's true. But like Johnny was the standout in his band, I was the standout in my band, and Phil was the standout in his band. And it just so happened that all 3 of our bands broke up on like literally the same day.
Wow.
We were like, we don't know if we can just make this happen anymore.
That's wild.
Logistically, realistically. So when that happened, Johnny had seen me carrying a guitar, and he was like, "Hey man, I know you're in a band. Like, do you want to come jam?" I was like, "Yeah." Just showed up. Phil was there. I had known Phil. Phil is like a world-class singer. Like, he teaches people how to sing nowadays.
His voice is
He's
really
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. So when I walked into the room and he was there, ready to jam with me, because I had like imposter syndrome. I was like, I don't know the notes on the guitar. This guy is like, he was like Mickey Mouse to me, and I was a child. Like, I looked up to him.
Right. Yeah.
So we jammed, and it went awesome. And we wrote our first song called "Party in Hell"
Yeah.
that day. And that's an old song. It's like, but like that song that we wrote that day in the first jam session ended up being like the one song that like our fans started to cling to. And if not for that song, we never would have been able to continue.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that
So
was
what
that
year
was pretty cool.
are we talking right now?
Junior year in college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking 13?
Yeah, around there.
Yeah, 2013, 2012. That's cool. Yeah, so you guys been together for over a decade then.
Yes, 12 years.
Oh man, that is
We've been doing
freaking
it.
awesome.
Yeah, we've been doing it very shittily for like 8 years.
Yeah, which is okay. Which is okay. Well, but the thing is, you guys have had some really cool, like, big breaks. You've had some great tours you guys have done. Like,
Yeah.
you guys just did a big tour earlier this year,
No, not this year.
or was it last year?
last year? Probably.
You went to where?
I don't know. We go all over the
Didn't you
country.
go like on a really far away tour?
We were going to go to Australia, and then
wow.
that fell through like last minute.
Oh,
Like we had our plane
but
tickets.
you guys have done like give me some ideas of some of the tours you guys have done.
Oh, we've toured with a lot of bands, so many. Like we did Steel Panther.
Okay.
They're like
Wow.
a super funny like 80s hair metal band. They
Okay.
pack out
Steel Panther?
yeah,
I need
they
to
My
listen
dad
to that.
loves 80s hair metal.
Yeah,
so
they're
that's
like
awesome.
sex, drugs, and rock and roll comedians.
that's
Yeah.
like Weird Al version.
I want to hear
It's-
these guys
it's-
so
it's
bad.
Incredibly entertaining. But we went out with them. We played shows with, so many people. Skid Row, Papa Roach, Hailstorm,
Wow.
Papa Roach, that's
POD,
awesome.
like all
POD?
the. Oh yeah,
Really?
All
I
the,
used to
like,
love
there's
POD
so
growing
many
up.
more. It's a lot of one-off stuff. But like we actually got Lizzie Hale to come on stage and sing with us.
Oh, really?
Wow.
So, what was like some of the best memories of like going on tour? Like where, like some of the best venues you've done, or like what are some of those?
All right, so touring as a young band with not that, and you're not huge, right? Is terrible but fun at the same time. As a 21-year-old guy, you're still a child.
Yep.
Like,
Oh,
I don't care.
100%.
Yeah, you're still a child. So, like, we hopped in a 1995 E350 broken down
The
shuttle
Econoline.
bus.
Yep.
Yes. And it was, like, barely running. We took that thing across the country and back. And, like, it had 6 bunks in the back. We were living the dream because money didn't really matter to us. We were making just enough to, like, get a peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah.
And ramen noodles. And, like, at that age, you're just like, we're doing it, man. Everybody else is, like, graduating college and going into their shitty 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And we're out here, like, living the dream. And it was, wasn't luxurious, but it was a lot of fun. Like, we learned how to do everything cheaply. Like, you could make, and when you're in a rock and roll band, you drink.
Yeah.
And we learned how to make drinks for super cheap with, like, vodka and Crystal Light pouches. And we would
Crystal Light.
Yeah, we'd have a designated.
That's how it stays so trim.
It's like, you're driving today, Phil, so Johnny and I are going to have drinks in the back. And we're going to get to the show, and we're going to play the show. We're going to, shake hands, kiss some babies, and and you're out. You sell some T-shirts, and, like, every show we played, there was, like, between 3 and 25 people there.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
So we were playing to, like, almost nobody. One time we actually played to a bartender and a dog, and that was it.
Are you serious?
The
You
dog
played a
fell
whole
asleep.
show for a person and the dog goes.
Yeah, but you know what? It only makes you stronger.
Yeah, man, we've been.
I mean,
through
if
the
you
ringer.
can do that, you can do anything.
Yeah, people think that we were an overnight success.
It never happens.
That
way.
overnight success took 12 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were not great.
And you hear that a lot from artists too. They're like,
Yeah.
I blew up yesterday, but I've been doing this for a while.
Well,
So
even like with Jillian on, like she was on America or The Voice, and she was sick, so she didn't get the big break she wanted. But it was a big break for her because she was nationally recognized on a show, and it's led to a lot of touring this year, and that was last year.
yeah, and
So
she's been on stage, headline or not headlining, but
she was on center stage.
Yeah,
at
she was
that,
on center
at that
stage.
one in Myrtle Beach. She just showed a bunch of videos. She was. I mean, this is a country festival that's huge.
Yeah, she's out there killing it.
Killing it
she
right
said
now.
that she's leading up for like a lot of like really big people. I
Yeah.
forget some of the names she said. But
Yeah.
really big people in country music right now.
Mhm.
Well, let's talk about. So when I met you, no offense, I didn't know who Small Town Titans were because it wasn't in my radar.
Yeah.
I can actually tell you, I drive around and listen to nothing 24/7.
So he listens to me on the phone.
I listen to, like, YouTube videos and podcasts. I almost never listen
It's like
to
the
music.
only silence I ever get. I don't like listening to nothing, like nothing. But and then we started talking about to me, one of the bigger breaks you guys had as a band was a YouTube video.
Yes.
That you guys did, and it got millions of views. And when I heard that was you guys, I had heard that. I knew who that was. Why don't we talk about what that was?
Yeah, so I don't remember what year it was, but we did a cover of You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch.
Yes.
The Christmas song, classic, everybody knows it. But we didn't do it like it was supposed to be done. We did it in a totally, like, dark, hard rock kind of way. And our singer, who we're lucky enough to have in the band, it has amazing vocals, and he hits these high notes and these low notes, and it was just one of those things that ended up being like a wow moment for people that never heard of us. They were like, whoa, who are these guys?
Yeah.
So what that did for us was it opened the doors to the entire repertoire that we had already released that was getting zero attention. That was the gateway drug to the Small Town Titans for almost everybody that knows who we are. So that went from getting just a couple hundred views on any video we put out to putting the Grinch out in a strategic way. We did some Facebook ads.
Mm-hmm.
Then that went out, and within 2 days, it had like 5 million views on it. And I think now on Facebook, it has like 60 million.
That's insane.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and it's like millions on YouTube. So, like, that was the moment that our band was like, oh, we might be able to do this. Like, if we have this kind of influx of fan base, like, we have to just continue to maintain the ecosystem that we bring our fans into. It became less of a let's struggle to get exposure to more of let's build a business.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, he's going to get into some questions about what you're doing now because there's some really cool stuff. But I want to kind of go back and talk about we have a guest coming on named Shannon, and I work actually with your wife on things like this, but in all actuality, what that was branding.
Oh, yeah.
And now what he's going to talk about too, which is really amazing, is your branding, your band. Like, this is self-branding. Yeah. And what you did with that is you basically put out notice, like, this is who we are, this is what we can do. And you branded yourself as something. And now people recognize you, because if I say something, do you know the Small Town Titans? No, not really. Or like some of my friends love you guys. Like, I have a buddy named Aaron. Yeah. He's all about Small Town.
I was just going to say too, I've seen people online sharing posts to you guys of hey, I just got my Small Town Titans tattoo on my shoulder.
Yeah.
That's insane to think about.
That blows my mind every time.
I can't wait till this is on somebody's back.
Like
or
Steve-O.
butt, whatever.
I'm not getting a John tattoo.
Whatever.
I don't think. Maybe we'll get one of each other sometime.
Okay, that would be nice.
A cute one on our wrist or something.
Yeah, right. We should just get each other's glasses.
Oh, no.
That would be hilarious.
But to me, that branding and the stuff you guys are doing on social media is what Zach and I strive for, not only with this podcast, but with Keller Williams and our real estate careers. We're trying to brand.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that we are getting followers when it comes to our real estate and our podcast, because there's actually some sincerity to who we are.
Yeah.
We're not out here just for clicks. We want to help people, whether it's through this podcast or whatever. And you guys are trying to get a fan base together. Mm-hmm. And I think the branding that you guys are doing is something that could really be taught in a class. And you've actually talked to our brokerage about it, and it's really neat.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's something that was completely unintentional. When we started the band, we weren't we need to set our brand right.
Right.
90% of branding is you know how noodles get cooked? Mm-hmm. Grab a handful of noodles and you throw them at the wall.
Yep.
And maybe one will stick.
Yep.
And then you're all right, we're going to stick with that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's working. And then you grab another handful and you throw it at the wall, and maybe another one sticks. You're we're going to stick with those two things. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of trial and error. And we were just lucky enough to kind of work our way into just being a hard rock and roll band.
Yeah.
I think half of our brand is our lead singer's bald head.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
I've seen a lot of comments that just say egg and stuff like that on the TikTok.
And
it's
then
hilarious.
You did say you're talking about noodles, and you were talking about what are they called? Ramen noodles. Mm-hmm. Did you guys see 2 days ago on 81 that ramen noodle truck flipped over?
No, I didn't see that.
Truck
I did
flipped
not
over.
see that.
Did you see a bunch of band vans swarming it?
No, but they filed an insurance claim. It was $30.
Get out of here.
It's just a joke.
That's a lot of money on ramen noodles.
$30 for the truck.
Whole truckload, 53-footer, $30.
gosh.
That was my joke.
That was a good one.
That's pretty stupid, right?
Yeah, I think that one probably won't stick to the wall like yeah.
Nate liked it, yeah? Okay, go. All right.
So we have I have to tell a little bit of a story here, and Ben knows what I'm going to say here, but so the other day, I think 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now, I wake up, my alarm goes off, I'm getting ready for the day, all that normal stuff, and when you wake up and you're 1% awake, and you're just kind of checking your phone, and you're oh, I got notifications and whatever. I opened up Twitter this morning. Shout out to X now, not Twitter anymore. And I'm scrolling, and I'm a wrestling fan. That's not a secret. I've said that a few times. And Logan Paul is in the WWE now. He's the U.S. champion. Shout out to Logan Paul. Not that you can need shout outs. And so I'm scrolling through, and I see Logan Paul posted something, and he says something like, should I make this my walkout song? And I look at it, I'm oh, what's this about? And all of a sudden I see Ben Guiles' face in the post. And I'm what is going on?
You're who's that guy that looks like Ben?
So Ben, can you tell us your POV on how all this stuff went down?
Yeah, so just for a little bit of backstory, one of the video series that our band does that really kind of helped explode us after the Grinch, this was the second thing that really worked for us.
Oh, it's
the second noodle is the Will It Riff series.
Yep.
And what we do is we take household products, household barcodes, and there's numbers on them. And a guitar tab uses numbers to tell you what notes to play. So I use these numbers to play guitar, and I write a riff based on these. We do household products. Prime was one of the products we did. So we riff it, the whole band plays guitar, bass, drums, vocals, and we sing about the product. and it's a lot of fun. People are just like, oh my God, like do this one, do that one. I can't wait to see what Topo Chico sounds like.
Yeah.
This is the one I'm asking for. We want to. We're gonna see if we can get this done. No promises, but we're gonna try to get a short done for Topo Chico.
We love Topo Chico.
Yeah.
We do love Topo Chico.
Yeah, so we kind of did that in a digestible format so people understood what was happening, and we did Prime, and it was a cool riff. Like, I liked it.
It was awesome.
And, you know, when we do it, we tag all these people, and a lot of our fans jump in and tag these brands and these people whose products that we're riffing. So it just brings more attention to it because there's more moving parts. And Logan Paul, it came across his desk, I guess, and he liked it.
Yeah. Logan Paul, for context, owns Prime.
Yes. Logan Paul and KSI.
Yep.
And like the KSI fan page saw the video, shared it, and then Logan Paul saw it. He shared it.
Wow.
So we had this like little spiderweb effect happening, and he mentioned, should I make this my walkout song?
Yeah.
Which then we learned later that a lot of people don't like his walkout song or something.
So Logan Paul's walkout song for WWE fans is not very good right now. It's kind of boring. It's kind of whatever. It's like a generic one because he just came into the WWE a couple years ago. And so everyone's been wanting him to get a new song. So that's kind of where that joke comes from.
Yeah. So as of right now, it's just like the ball's in his court. If Logan Paul reaches out and says, "Hey man, you want to rework the song and make it my walkout song?"
Thumbs up.
Got you, Logan.
That would be so crazy.
Yeah, but we're not going to be like, "Hey Logan, hey Logan, hey Logan."
Don't forget about us.
Yeah. Because I mean, how many emails does that guy get a day?
Dude,
I get 100, so he's probably getting a couple more.
Yeah.
I'm
He's probably getting like 105, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably
1,000.
I will never forget waking up that morning though, seriously, and just being like, that was just an unbelievable.
Dude, his text
moment.
messages, he sent them to our group. He was like, "Oh my gosh, oh my
Yeah.
god!"
I was
And
freaking out, man.
Yeah, and it was cool because I actually, I have X, Twitter, whatever, and I don't look at it as much, like because I'm old, so I'm a Facebook guy more, And then you're what, an Instagram guy,
Pretty much, yeah.
and then you're what?
TikTok, I guess.
But yeah, he is.
I like YouTube.
I like
YouTube's
YouTube.
probably my favorite platform.
I like
Yeah, me
YouTube,
too.
TikTok. I like them all, but for some reason, I don't know. I guess because
You're just predisposed. You're just like the F. I'm attracted to that. Like that's where you go.
that little blue, let me see where.
It's branding.
Little blue F,
Yeah.
Attracted to the brand.
So whose idea was it to do the Will It Riff series in the first place? Like, how did that come to be?
It was some kid's idea from like Iowa or something.
Are you serious?
No, what had happened was I saw a guy that was making guitar riffs off of numbers. That's what a guitar tat is. But he was using, I want to say, zip codes.
Okay.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, that's an interesting concept. But the way that he was doing it was he was just taking a cell phone video and like you couldn't hear what he was doing on guitar, and it was just it wasn't done well. And I was just like, dude, we could do that so much better. We could do that professionally recorded, professionally filmed, edited, and make real songs out of them.
and they are real songs. They're cool.
Yeah, they're like 30, 40-second tunes.
Yeah, and they're all really good. I just listened to the Jello one this morning. That was great.
Yeah, so then it was like, oh, we can, like, let's make riffs off of stuff. What can I use? And, like, I have rules about content. Like, it has to be simple to create, it has to be on brand, and it has to be vastly repeatable. So it's not just, like, a one-off thing. You put all this time and effort into it, and then the video might bomb or not. Like, it needs to be simple, or else you'll never continue to do it. Mm-hmm. I figured I was like, barcodes, they all have numbers on them, and we can tag Deer Park and Topo Chico and Duncan and get all these people involved, and it's a much more sustainable system of posting content. You're involving other brands and we were just like, you know what, hey, like maybe somebody will pay us to do this one day if it goes well. I had the idea, and before I even presented it to the brand or the band, I turned around and I saw Heinz tomato ketchup sitting on like a little grocery cart.
this one
I had, and I was like, that's the first one I'm gonna do. Grabbed it.
Yep.
And I made a riff, and I sent the riff to the guys and the video of me playing it. We had a conference call, and I was like, guys, I want to try something. Trust me on this. Like, let's just give it a try. And our manager was like, that's a fantastic idea. You guys should do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we did it, and we did Heinz tomato ketchup, and we were just like, post it, whatever.
Yep.
No idea what was going to happen. That's at like 20 million views right now on TikTok alone.
That was the first one.
First one.
Yeah.
20 million on the first one.
We went from 80,000 followers in January
On
This year.
on TikTok alone this year to what is it, June now?
Yep.
We are just now about to crest 600,000 followers. And that's all because of Will It Riff. Like all of our other videos get a little bit of attention, but it's because people came for the Will It Riff series.
Yeah, they want to see the new stuff.
Yeah, well, it's we were able to kind of like spark curiosity.
Yeah.
Like there's Celsius right here, right?
Love Celsius.
People were commenting that all the time.
Yeah.
And like, do Celsius.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we are so interested in what this product sounds like. This
Right,
product
right.
that I use every day, what does it sound like?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's so much fun because it's simple. It's right in our wheelhouse. It's engaging. And it's vastly repeatable.
I have
There's
to tell you a,
never-ending amount of barcodes.
I have to tell you a side story here. So I was telling one of my buddies about how we were hanging out and stuff, and he was like, "You know the barcode guys?" That's literally what he
We are
said.
the
Shout out to
barcode
Kyle
guys.
Emlet. He's one of my buddies because I shared about the Logan Paul thing. And I was like, one of my buddies was on Logan Paul's Twitter feed. He's like, "You know the barcode guys?" So that's what he calls you. Just so you know.
but it's
we
cool.
went from the Grinch guys
Yeah.
to the barcode guys.
I mean, I can honestly say I've seen those, and I didn't even like recognize. Like I'd see parts of them and not even like recognize like who all was in this video.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
It was kind of just organically coming across your page.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. I mean that's
That's the man knowing what I want.
That's a fantastic idea, and I think one of the all the business minded people out there, one of the genius parts of it too is that brands are going to want to be on the barcode guys page to see how their product sounds, because like it's not just that the people want it, because they do, and it's really good content. That's why it's so successful, but it's also because brands are going to want you to do it too, and that's
mean,
it's
20 million
both
people-
sides of the coin.
Yeah.
20 million people looking at a Heinz ketchup ad.
Yes.
Right.
And there are people that are commenting and they're just like, man, you know what? I haven't had Heinz in a while.
Yeah,
It's on my
isn't-
grocery
isn't
list
that
now.
crazy?
And it's, it's like, it's
Right.
amazing what people like, just that top of mind kind of thing.
It is.
And like people are coming into listening to our music, eating ketchup.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, they're bringing ketchup bottles to the show.
Instead of a lighter, they're all holding up Heinz 57 bottles.
yeah, like
got-
when we play live, we're probably gonna have to start.
That's what
playing
I was
some
gonna
of these
say. Like,
riffs.
are you gonna? Are people are just gonna bring ice pop prime bottles? And be like, play ice pop, play
Yeah,
ice pop.
if they can get them into the venues, I don't know the legality of that, but that'd be sweet.
Oh, that's so funny.
Well, I think this has been a really great interview, and it's really cool to see like this branding come about and how you guys literally found a niche. You know, first off, you're a really good, talented band.
Yeah.
But it's also great to get the word out about who you guys are and finding a niche with, Will It Riff. And I think that's really awesome. And I know that's going to continue. Mm-hmm. The band's going to continue, and you're going to continue to rock on.
Absolutely. We're just going to continue to make other things that do as well as Will It Riff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that noodle's on the wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then we're now looking for the next noodle, because that noodle is totally sustainable. It's staying there forever.
Yeah.
We can just continue to make them.
Yep.
Right.
Next noodle time.
Next noodle time. I like that.
That's a hashtag.
Well, next noodle time. No, I just think it's awesome, and what you're sharing, and we hear a lot of this on the podcast, is fail forward.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, to perform in front of a bartender. I picture some English bar when you were saying that. Like, or you're in Ireland and there's this like bartender and then like this drunk dog. That's how I'm picturing it. But like I'm saying, fail forward.
Yep.
And I hear that when you talk, and I hear the joy of things that you do. And like, if you're not doing things that you love, you're never going to be happy.
Yep.
Like, I love my career. I love doing the podcast. I love traveling. I love doing things I'm able to do. Like last night, I went with my best friend to a hockey game. And this has been my best friend, literally one of my best friends, but the best friend that I had since I was 5. Mm-hmm. And for him and I to share last night together, watching this game, overtime, game 7, like
Shout out to the Hershey Bears making the finals.
making
again.
the finals. Like, it was an awesome experience last night. And it's things that I want to do and I love to do. And I take time and I do it. And I see that you get to do that. And it's really cool to watch you grow as a man, because I've got to see you grow over the last couple of years as a man.
Yeah.
Like, because we're all growing.
Oh yeah.
I've watched him grow
constantly.
Yeah, and it's really been fun. So I'm just really proud of you, and I'm just glad you came on today. And you aren't necessarily a fill-in because you do have a great story.
Yeah.
But for you to give us the opportunity for you to come in on such short notice with your busy schedule with the band and things like that, it's important to us.
Happy to be here, man.
Yep. And time is the most precious asset we have, so we're really grateful.
Yeah, I just want to say, I think, one thing we hear all the time is that fail forward piece. It is that a lot of people kind of sit on the sidelines because I think success is having the perfect plan and executing it to perfection and all this crazy stuff. But really what you see in a lot of successful people is that they threw noodles at the wall, man. Like
Dude, success is not quitting.
Yes,
No.
exactly. Yeah. Success is trying and trying and trying because you love it. And I see that in you so much. And I think that one thing I respect about you a lot is the fact that you always put everything into the things that you love. And that's so cool, man, because I see that a lot in John and myself and Nate and everybody around us. So.
Yeah, there's something to be said about passion. If you find something you're passionate about, like, do your best to continue to do that thing. Because that's going to give you fulfillment. It's going to give you purpose. It's going to give you financial gain in the future if you actually do it.
Right.
But there's a lot of sacrifices that you're going to have to make in order to do that.
Yeah.
Like new bands or young bands will ask me sometimes, they'll say, what's your best advice for a young band? And my best advice is to quit. Stop right now. Find something. Go get a job. Take the comfortable route. You're not good enough. You're never going to make it. People don't care about your music, and it's too difficult for you to do. And I tell those people, if you think I'm wrong having heard that, then you might be cut out for this.
Yeah. That's kind of what Brandon Keaton said about whenever we asked him about that.
Right.
He's like, go do the 9 to 5. He's like, figure it out.
Yeah.
Because if you can handle that and do that at the same time, you might make it.
Right.
If you can't, you can't.
Yep.
Right.
If you look somebody in the eye and you tell them to quit and they're like, maybe I should, then they should.
They absolutely
Correct.
should.
If they're like, I got a chip on my shoulder, like, fuck you, I'm gonna play.
Right.
Those are the people.
Those are the people that are
succeed.
cut out for it. Yep.
You can
That makes
tell those
perfect
people that they're terrible, and they'll be like, "Yeah, we'll see tomorrow."
Yep.
Yeah.
And I also want one last thing before we close the show. I want to thank Ben for breaking our profanity barrier on the Good Hustle today.
Are we not allowed to curse?
No,
No,
we just haven't. It's
We
been
just haven't,
23 episodes. Ben knocked 4 of them out for us today. So
Is that what you're writing down over there? How many times?
yeah. This is one. Yep, 1, 2, 3. No, I'm just kidding. But no, we're super grateful and just thanks again. So we're So keep an eye out for him. YouTube, Small Town Titans, and Will It Riff. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, guys.